How much are you typically reducing into strength? Is it always 50%? I know you talked about that in your books, or does it depend on the situation?
So I can speak from me, generally speaking, and generally what we put on the platform. And Mark and Brandon, you guys could speak from your own personal trading. But I tend to operate in like quarter positions and half positions. It's just the way I've done it. I've tried it different ways, and it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of difference if I do thirds, halves, and quarters. But certainly, I'm not taking off like 5%, 10%. That's more of a mutual fund type strategy. Usually, what happens is the stock moves up. I'm taking off enough to either cushion all my risk or cushion half my risk.
Hmm.
So, and again, if the stock goes up 20% and you got an 8% stop, you could sell a lot less than half to cushion the entire position, right? So depending on how much it goes up, depends how much I'm going to sell versus where my stop is. So if I want to finance risk. So I'm generally in quarter position, half positions, and full positions, and overweights are usually, one and a quarter, one and a half, two times. But when I go overweight, I usually go heavy. I usually go pretty heavy on an overweight. Like I'll double my position. If I've got, let's just say it's a 20% and I go to a 40% position, I'm probably not going to hold overnight, or at least I'm going to take some off. If I'm just looking for that thing to get some gas and give me a little return, take a little off, finance a little, that'll finance me overnight. And if I get a little more, take a little more off, and that'll finance my risk for the whole full position. So always looking to finance my risk. I'm trying to get into, and this is again, this is really um this has been my whole life's work. And Paul Tudor Jones is really one of the main people responsible for me being so stickler on my risk. But Larry Hite really took it like to another level, not with giving me any techniques, but just with his absolute discipline and passion for improving that worst case scenario and creating asymmetric leverage. We had so many discussions. I'm so fortunate to be friends with these market wizards who I idolized when I was your age. And now my Stan Weinstein's a good friend of mine. Larry Height's a great friend of mine. I talk to him all the time. We talk regularly, and it's just wonderful because I learn, I learn and I get these great insights from guys that have been doing it even, 20, 30 years longer than me. And I've been doing it for 40.
Yeah, excellent. Mark, Ritchie, or Brandon, did you have anything to add with regards to selling into strength, how much you guys typically do it, or also the concept of going a little bit overweight in a position as well?
Not much differently, honestly, we sort of cut from the same cloth, but yeah, as a general rule, sort of thirds or halves,
Yeah.
if it's a position we want to play for a bigger move, we generally don't sell more than half. And then, as Mark was saying, the most important thing, in terms of even going overweight or getting more aggressively long, like he said, the more concentrated you are, the more overnight risk you're carrying. So you have to be thinking in terms of like, how do you manage that worst case scenario? What are you comfortable with holding overnight? So if we're going to get really aggressive in one name, we're going to be really cognizant of that, and then be more likely to reduce a little bit faster because we're not going to carry. For us, anything over a 20-25% position would be considered overweight, and we're not usually carrying more than say 30% overnight in any one name.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Did you notice the entire time that we've all been talking that we almost exclusively have been talking about risk? And no matter what question you ask, all roads lead back to risk management. And that's the bottom line. And that's what we just work at becoming better and better and better and better at.
And if you read the Market Wizards books, everything comes back to risk. They all mention risk management as one of the
Yeah.
keys. Yeah.
Uh, I said it in my book. I don't know. I don't remember what book or where I said it, but I remember I said it. But Jack Schwager, when he had interviewed me for Market Wizards, he came in and he threw his tape recorder on and we talked for hours and hours and hours. And he sighed and he took his recorder, he turned it off and he said, Mark, this is all great, but this is what they all say. He's like, this is what he's like, this is what everybody says. I've already written several Market Wizards book and they all say the same thing. I said, Jack, I hate to tell you, but there's a reason why this is what they say. And I'm sorry, but this is how I do it too. That's right. There's a reason why, and while it may be boring, I remember Jack telling me that day, he said, my Market Wizards books have been really successful, but I'd like to write one that people would like to sit on the beach and read it like almost like a novel. I said, Jack, that's not going to happen. I said, people are reading these books to read about the masters and how they did it, and they want tools, and yeah, they want stories too. But yeah, it was a fun conversation that we had. But I went right back to talking about risk and and cutting losses.
Only the most committed traders are reading that at the beach, and I think there's definitely a lot in the audience who do that. Brandon, did you have anything to add as well, or cut from the same cloth? Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I was always taught early on in life that risk is bad. And I think when you really calculate risk, risk is an opportunity. And I think when like what Mark just said, my job, what I'm trying to do is understand all the risks and get better at it. And I think, if you do that, there's a lot of opportunity out in the world.